Play me my theme song, oh.
Welcome to my channel. Today we have a special guest, a repeat guest here.
How are you calling me repeat guest?
They repeat.
No.
You've come here before.
No, it's not very negative. Like people that repeat classes, I don't like it.
You want to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Tessy. I work in oil and gas. I'm 26. I deal with high net worth individuals. Yeah, that's just a little bit about me and what I do for work.
Alright, so today we have Tessy, as she said. Everything else she said was a lie, but the name is true. We have her with us on this channel, and we're very happy to have her actually. So thank you for coming here. So we're going to be talking about vulnerability in love and relationships. So let's start with this question. What does vulnerability feel like to you?
Feel like oh, it feels disgusting. It's like I don't like it. I can't lie to you, I don't like it. It's not something,
Really?
yeah, I mean obviously it's something that's necessary. I'm trying to get I'm getting better at it. I'm way better than I used to be, but it's uncomfortable. Like
It is uncomfortable. Do you ever feel like you're naked in a sense?
100%.
Okay.
I feel like and this is a very weird analogy. I don't know why this is all that comes to mind, but like a snail, and I just remove the shell, and it is just there exposed.
When was the first time you say that you learned about the word?
What? I don't really know. I mean, I was kind of like a child prodigy, so I learned a lot very early on. Like,
Oh God.
very early. It's hard to say. I don't know. I can't think of when I first learned of the word. When I can tell you when I first realized that I had like improvements to make in I had an issue with vulnerability.
Okay, yes. That's actually one question I was going to ask you. Go there now.
Yeah, no, it was when I was in first year. First year is when I started realizing, and then along the way, like as I had more friends, they're like, "Yo, we've been friends for like 2 years now, and I still don't really know anything about you." Yeah, but like first year, I had that. That was also my first time in therapy, and so it was the first time I had anybody allow me to just open a space for me to lay things out. And I realized that me needing to go to therapy was partly because I was going through so much, but it hadn't even occurred to me to talk to anybody because I just wasn't used to vulnerability. It was just never a thing that I had done or seen. I don't know. I was just so used to just dealing with my problems by myself. Yeah. And so that was the first time that I was like, you know what? Maybe there's an issue there. And then subsequently I came to understand fully where my issues were with that. But
No, I think it's great that you picked that out and then you went to therapy. Because people need therapy and walking around just not being able to. But it's good that you're able to pick that out and then say, I'm going to fix myself.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for therapy. So thank you for sharing that. Alright, so let's go deeper. And we're going to start with family because that's one of the most important, actually the first social institution that you learn from. Okay. So growing up in PH.
cut it. I'm done. I didn't come here for this level of disrespect. Disrespect. You have to beg me. No, you have to beg me.
Growing up in PH, Nigeria, would you say that you felt the space to be vulnerable with people? Because I know that for me, my mom sometimes would say, tell me things, tell me everything. But I knew that deep down. You better don't say shit.
Yeah.
I remember one time when I was really young. I was really young, I was like maybe 14, and then the neighbor's child had a crush on me. And I was saying, oh my goodness, the neighbor's child had a crush on me. And she's like, what does that mean? Repeat to yourself. I saw what does that mean? Like, what do you want to do about that? And I was like, bro, you said I should tell you everything.
Yeah, oh my God.
I was confused.
Yeah.
So for you, did you feel like you had the space to be vulnerable?
Okay, so my parents, I'll say no, but I think that's common with most Nigerian kids, right? I think it wasn't. Yeah, Nigerian parents are generally very authoritarian. They're not like maybe Canadian parents, whereas they're way more gentle, all these kinds of things. Like they just have different parents and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I think it's also the way they were raised, right? It's just how they know how to do it, right? So for me personally, no, though we didn't do a lot of like talking in terms of like if you have a problem, let's talk about it. There wasn't really any of that. So it just wasn't something I was able to learn from them, because when I got older, I realized that they didn't know how to do that either. You know, in certain aspects. So I wasn't upset about it. I was just like, okay, well, this is something that I just have to learn. Like, we all just have to learn now and be better moving forward, right?
That's amazing.
At home, no, we didn't really have that environment where like talk about problems and stuff like that.
How about for your siblings? Was it different?
No, it wasn't different. It was the same with my siblings as well. We didn't do a lot of talking or anything like in that way. Like if you have problems and stuff like that, or just we didn't do it. Like now we do,
but
thankfully. But growing up, we didn't. Now we've all like come to learn some of these things that are important. We're all way more intentional. We have way better relationships. So now it's great.
But would you say that is something that you had to like push for, or was it just like we're growing up at everybody at the same time? It's just all of you are just on the same wavelength at the same time?
Absolutely not. It took work. Like it took effort, right? Like that would work. It took effort, right? I think the first and biggest push for it was my older sister, right? And then as I understood vulnerability more just like for myself, I began to push for that too. Like also we all sort of got there at different times, but and we all went to school in different places, so we're not around each other where we could, so we're all in different countries, so it took intentional effort for us to do that and keep in touch and check on each other and really make sure that you're not just telling me you're fine when you're in another country dying on the line, that sort of thing. Like, it took effort for sure.
So how would you have wanted things to be different?
Okay, so different reference in terms of vulnerability. I think it would have been great if, and this is something I want to do with my kids, if they were able to teach me how to be vulnerable and that kind of stuff. Now again, I'm not upset about, like, I completely understand that they didn't even know how to do that, right?
That's what kind of love.
Exactly, and so now I'm thankful that I'm learning so that I can pass that on. But if that was something that I could have learned from them, I think it would have made things easier for me in a lot of ways. Because to this day, it's still something I'm trying to get better at, and all that, and it still feels so scary sometimes, I'm not gonna lie. But I can only assume that if I had had more practice from like maybe age 5 to now, as opposed to when I was like maybe 18, 19, I'd be better at it by now. But anyway, with regards to my siblings, honestly, that's one that I don't particularly even really know what the answer is. Like, because I know that I would have liked for things to be better with regards to us being like vulnerable with each other, but we didn't really have the friendships with each other that we have now, so I guess that couldn't really happen.
I was about to say, most times when you're younger, you all hate each other, and then when you grow older,
we hated each other. I hated them so much, right? Like, and I know, like, it was just, we just didn't get along when we were younger, right? But it was as we got older that we started building those friendships and we were able to be vulnerable with each other. So I don't really know what, I'm sure there's stuff, I just don't know, I guess, because I'm not a parent, but like, I'm sure there's stuff they can do to facilitate that friendship and vulnerability amongst their kids. I learned from some TikTok activists that, some people talked about how their parents, one thing they did was that they did not let them, like, their parents made them stick to each other. Like, they did not let them snitch on each other. Like, if your brother does something and you snitch, they will beat you.
That was screaming. They said, you're for them.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you have to have your brother's back, that sort of thing. I mean,
it can lead to a problem. If
that type of thing might lead to a problem because there's something that the parent needs to know. You would want them to tell you. But like, I see where they're coming from. I see the good intent. And I'm sure there are ways parents can do stuff like that.
Yeah. How would you separate being an open book to being vulnerable? Do you think there's a difference?
Probably. I think if I were to say, not that I'm the expert on this sort of thing, if I were to say, I would say maybe just being cautious about who you're vulnerable with, because you can't tell everybody and everything.
And that's something that messed me up a lot, because I did not know that when I started my vulnerability journey. I didn't know that. So like, I met people and I judged them so fast, so quickly, that if I see them on the road, I'm like, why the hell does this person that I only was friends with for like a couple of months know so much about me and can literally ruin my life with those information that they know about me. Why is that so?
Yeah.
But it's because I did not feel the need for them to have earned that right. I was pushing them, just like, just be vulnerable, but not realizing that they need to earn that trust. They need to earn that space.
How did you get to a place where you were even able to do that? Like, where you were able to just be vulnerable with people, like, without being scared or anything? Like, obviously before bad things happen.
Yeah. I think going through grief and death really just opened my eyes. Like, when I lost people, I was like, bro, it was a double-sided thing where it's like, I need to be more open, but also like, if I'm open with them and they die, then I'm back to square one again. And it was like, hey, what do I do kind of situation. But luckily or unluckily, I don't know where to go, I stemmed much of the side of making most of all my relationships and the new ones that I'll be with too. So I was like, listen, my friends are my friends and my family, and I'm going to be vulnerable with them. I'm going to show all these parts of myself with them because they can go, and I would have not had a fulfilling relationship with this person. And for a relationship to be fulfilling to me, I need to be able to be vulnerable with you. So that was a part of me that was like, listen, you have to go all out. And I went a little bit overachiever. You know what an overachiever? I have to go above and beyond. It's start. Exactly. But yeah, that was basically it for me. Do you remember your first friend?
I think I do. I don't know if she's like my first friend, but it's the first one I remember, and we're really close. And funny enough, all I remember about her is her name and the conversation she and I had, but I don't remember what she looked like or anything like that.
Okay.
It was our neighbor at the time, our neighbor's daughter. She and I were the same age. I was like 4, maybe. Okay. Her name was Amarachi, and I really hope, like, I'll ask my mom, hey, when we're living there, our neighbor's daughter, was there an Amarachi? Because I feel like I'm so sure that was.
You know that she's like, we do have a neighbor. You're having virtual friends. Next question is, what does vulnerability look like to you in friendships?
I've had a lot of times where, like, I'm talking with my friends and I'm trying to, explain something that's like, really vulnerable and that sort of stuff. It literally feels like, I don't know, like I'm a clam and like I'm trying to pry the shell open, but the shell don't want free. Like,
so I'm gonna stick to this.
I'm just, that sort of thing. So on a practical level, I've had some conversations with friends where it just takes me like 30 minutes to say something that would take another person 10 minutes.
Okay. Would you say it's because you're struggling to be vulnerable with them, or it's just because of what you're trying to say?
I think it's because I'm trying to explain something that puts me in a vulnerable position. Because like I've had these are people that like I trust. Like that's not even a problem. I don't feel uncomfortable or anything. I'm not scared that something bad will happen. I had like bad experiences with regards to this. One really hard one when I was 13. With regards to that.
You like all those men that say, when I was 9, this
girl
broke my heart.
And for the next 20 years, I'm going to terrorize women. I traumatized everyone I ever met. But yeah. Yeah, no, it's just, I don't know what it is. I don't know why it feels so uncomfortable. And I think maybe it's practice as well. Because I've practiced, like the more I practice, the better I get. But like I don't, like maybe I should just try to do it more. I did want to ask though, what does vulnerability look like for you?
I don't know, it's just being open and honest and raw and being able to see inside each other in a sense. And still being able to respect that person without like looking at them in a bad way. It's a very scary place to be in, but also it's a very beautiful place to be at too. So mine is a little bit of intensity.
When I'm in it, I love it. Like with a friend, like really quick, all of that, I love it. But just the thought of getting into it with a new person, like a new friend or anything, feels scary.
You're scared. Yeah. How long would you say you have to wait when you meet someone new for vulnerability to enter the chat? Do you think there's a timeline?
I don't think there would be a timeline. I'm sure this is one of those things that's just different things for different people, right? For me personally, I don't have like a specific time frame. I think it's just when I feel comfortable with them. Now, for me, unfortunately, in the past, that has taken a while. Like, and not even just me being intentional, just me just not realizing. It just, for the longest time, it just wouldn't even occur to me to open up. Like, if I'm struggling, to just, I'll figure it out. It wouldn't even occur to me to share with someone and ask what they think or anything. But then on the flip side, to the other person, it has come off across like, oh, you know, like she doesn't want to be vulnerable with me, or she doesn't feel comfortable, and that's not the case. I don't know. I know that one way I learn a lot is by example, right? And so I'm grateful that, you know, a lot of the friends I've had are so strong in some areas that, you know, maybe I'm not, right? And so I'm able to learn from them.
Why do you think it's hard to be vulnerable in friendships? Like, what would you say is hard for you?
For me, it's just, I don't know, this feeling that's
something's gonna happen.
That something bad is gonna happen.
Yeah, that shit's going to drop.
Yeah. Or just that, like, I really feel like, I don't know, I feel like it has nothing to do with them. Like, I don't know why, I just feel like I just get scared. I don't know. It's that boy that broke my heart when I was 9.
The funny thing when you say that is when I first met you and Grace and like Joan, I was like, yes, but you're getting shit from me.
I knew it.
I was like, this is going to give people surface greater shit ever in my life.
What made us give you those vibes?
It wasn't like it gave me any vibes. Like you said, it wasn't you, it was just me. I was just like, I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I had gotten out of a bad friendship at that point too.
Yeah.
So I was like, people are the same. If this person that I thought was my whole soulmate in friendship wise could do this to me, then like, who are you guys who are like basically strangers at that point?
Yeah.
Not to mess me up also. Do you see how I just cut myself?
I did. Look at you. Heavenly race. Strong.
But yeah. So people are often scared to be vulnerable because they believe that vulnerability is a sign of weakness. Now, would you agree with that statement?
Oh, absolutely not.
These are very good questions, by the way. Look at you. Love it. Bachelor's degree is working.
Oh yeah.
See you in the next video.
That's right.
Subscribe, Jerry.